Hello and welcome to Downs Your Way. This is episode 13 and I am Colin Speller. With lockdown now in week 5, I talked to Rebecca about how this strange set of circumstances is affecting her personally and professionally, and in relation to the latter, both in terms of her vocal teaching and her original music.
See the cloud stretch like a vulture with its wings held out.
So, here I am with Rebecca, in the midst of the lockdown. And fortunately no freeze frame when we've done the various live streams. So tell us, what's all this been like for you?
Well, I think it's a bit the same for me as it is for most people. It's just bloody weird and something that I could never have ever conceived of happening, ever. Although right now it feels as though it's been like this forever. Like, just the thought of, being able to go to a restaurant is like, don't be so stupid. You just think, I don't know, really quickly, I've just sort of, it seems to have become the norm. And even though it is, hard for various reasons, it seems to have just, I can't seem to remember a time when it wasn't this, although obviously I can. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I do, I guess. I suppose... We've all got to deal with it in a certain way, haven't we? And I guess if it has become, the problem I've had is knowing what day of the week it is.
Well, I've never known what day of the week it is, so that's not a problem. But no, absolutely. And I think normally you have some sort of working week, and no matter what that is, the weekend has a special significance people have their weekend at other times during the week if they're working nights, if they're working odd days, etc. So you have a part of the week which you look forward to. You think, yay, this is the non-working week. This is when I chill out and go out and have a drink and la la la. And so it's just like every day is the same. I've been going to bed ridiculously early because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like, I could stay up and watch loads of crap, but I just, I don't know, it just feels weird. And then I just read for hours and hours and hours anyway. But I've read a lot of books.
I was going to ask you what you did to offset the effects of it, but I was just about to make the point that I remember, when was it, 2 weeks ago or thereabouts, you said to me, is it Easter next week?
Yeah, it's just, this is Christmas.
And I said, well, yes, it is. And you said, oh, well, that means I've got absolutely nothing to do for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's just like, I read a lot, and I've been reading a ridiculous amount. I always have done. Reading is the same as music for me, apart from I don't write books or novels, but it is a very, very big part of my escapism. So for me, novels, they're always fictional, are just a massive part of everything for me. You
said on the podcast we did about the desert island one, you said you liked post-apocalyptic novels. You're now living in one.
I'm still living it. Yeah, I'm living in one, but that makes it all the more fascinating, to be honest. Let me get this straight, though. There's differences of post-apocalyptic novels. The ones that I'm really in love with are the ones that are kind of thousands of years in the future, and we've sort of gone back to being sort of horse-ridden and electric is like something that you're scared of. So it's like, it's not like it's happening now. In fact, I read one that was kind of almost like, it could be happening now, and I couldn't finish it. I just thought, no, this is way too close to what I'm going through. So I just couldn't finish it. But yeah, books, massive part, massive.
I think this is more like the Soviet era, really. That's the thing that I recognise about it. Yeah. So if you go back to like the 60s and the 70s, the books that were written then, the post-apocalyptic books, seem to have their roots in totalitarian societies.
He hasn't had a drink.
I haven't had a drink. Like the Soviet Union was perceived to be in the West, and they would be set in that sort of draconian era where people had little availability of food, and everything took a long time, and it's become very much like that. Long queues, gaps on supermarket shelves. It reminds me of the good old Soviet era joke of the man in the mid-70s who buys a new car and he says, "When will it be delivered?" And he's, "Oh, comrade, it will be delivered on the 3rd of April 1982. And he says, "Oh, morning or afternoon?" And he says, "Oh, morning. Why?" "Oh, that's good. I've got the plumber coming in the afternoon." And it's we're in that kind of era.
Did you hear the groan there, people?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
And we've run so far, but it's waiting still.
So what do you do to, by way of talking of the Soviet Union, of your state-approved exercise?
State-approved exercise. Well,
Hashtag.
I've commandeered a bicycle. I did have one years ago, and I thought it'd be great, just to do something other than walk around. So I'm on the bike, I'm going into the city centre, there is no one, and it just feels really, really weird. I don't know how safe I would feel riding roads into the city centre with all the traffic, but there isn't any, so it's fine. But the other thing I do is because I can't go to the gym at the moment, I've got like a personal trainer app, and it's like so many. I've got some weights at home, so I sort of follow that, but it's not the same as going to the gym, and you have to be quite motivated to do it, and I haven't been very well of late, so that's kind of slipped down the scale of priorities. But I am trying to keep that up. I'm also trying to not eat as much as I normally would, because I know that I'm not moving as much as I normally would, and I don't want to come out of this, morbidly obese, with an alcohol problem and probably, addicted to cigarettes or something. So, I'm just trying to keep healthy. And one of the things for that, it is songwriting. I've just been doing some vocal recording. Me and Steve are flying files around in the internet ether between ourselves, learning songs to play for you guys, and just, as I said, reading and trying to keep my mind active. I've also been doing shopping for my parents, dropping that off, and doing shopping for some other people that cannot get out at the moment, which, I've embraced, because it's just like, let's just do stuff. And I'm also still doing some online vocal training and teaching, which is very difficult, but I seem to have found a way.
So how does that work then? I was going to ask you about that. How are you doing that?
Well, it's different to being there with somebody in person. It's very different. So you can either do it on Skype or Teams or Zoom or whatever it is, FaceTime you want to do it on. And basically, if they're with me, I would be in control of backing tracks, I would be in control of levels, all that sort of thing. It's much more driven from their side. So I've been doing videos and sending it to them, and sort of MP3s that they can train with throughout the week. And then when it comes to performing for me on whatever medium they're using, they're playing the backing tracks from their end. I'm listening, sometimes recording the whole lesson on Skype or Zoom or whatever. So I can play it back. They're sending me much more. So they're sending me recordings of them just singing into their phone along to backing tracks. So I can sort of say, okay, you need to look at this bit, that bit, that bit. So before the lesson arrives, there's a lot more that's going on prior to the actual lesson. I really do miss the personal interaction. That's one of the reasons why I teach, is because I just love that interaction and the way a lesson can evolve. Whereas on this type of lesson, it's confined to the paradigm that you've worked out for the lesson. So the structure that you've worked out for the lesson will be the lesson. It's quite restrictive and contained in that way, but it still does work. Although I do, I'll be very, very grateful to get back to normal, whatever normal will be.
But so, in essence, you don't see that type of approach to teaching continuing then post.
I mean, if it has to, I think. I personally will probably look into better software better apps, because there are some I've been introduced to via some friends recently that maybe have less sound lag and stuff like that. So I think if it is going to be something that carries on, I think there's going to be investment, not just from me, but I think from teachers in general, doing stuff like that. And also as regards to the band, you know, I don't know how a band practice would work. I know there's lots of applications that can do that, but I think it would be good for maybe 2 people to be able to jam through stuff, but it's got to be timing's got to be, you know, not lagging, and connection's got to be right. So it would depend on the software, and I think it would be an investment from everyone to get along with that.
Let's talk about the live streaming. This was a real challenge in many regards because you weren't ready for it.
I wasn't ready.
Didn't have the kit, probably, to be fair. So had to start off on a very basic level, iPhone.
I didn't feel like I could do it. I'm going to be honest, you know. And again, it's you know, it's so different to doing an actual gig.
Well, what are the issues? What are the big issues for you?
The main issue is you can't see anyone. You can't hear them, you know, and you're in your bloody living room. You know, it's hard to get the adrenaline going, the vibe of it going. So what I thought when we tested it out on the fan group quite early was, this has got to be totally different. A bit like the lessons. You've got to look at it differently as an artist. And what I've done up till now is to, if you ever saw the acoustic shows that we did, it's very much take that sort of attitude. So a little bit of chat, trying not to take it as, the word seriously isn't the right one, but not to be so uptight about it, to sort of say, look folks, this is what it is. I'm not the world's best guitarist, that's why I've got Steve. You know, I use a guitar to write songs, so this is going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to rely on my voice, and I just want to have a bit of chat and see if I can entertain you, you know, and just get a bit of fun going, really. I think the other thing that this situation has shown to me is that, you know what, if you play a wrong chord, nobody's going to die. You know, if you sing the wrong thing, nobody's going to die. And you've got to get a perspective in your head, and I think this is definitely, over the times that I've now done it, I've managed to get a perspective, whereas, you know what, if you don't like it, you don't have to listen. If you don't think my playing's good enough, you don't have to listen. It is what it is. It's a girl sat in her living room with limited equipment, trying her very best to entertain you, because that's what I've done all my life, is entertain. So, you know, but it is a very difficult, you know, it's a very different set of circumstances, and in your head it is different. But I'm enjoying it now.
It's a bit like being on the radio, isn't it, I guess? I mean,
yeah, a little bit. I mean, and what I always do when I'm doing a live thing on the radio is that I always pretend in my head that the only people I'm playing to are those in the room. But with the streaming, the live streaming, you can't really do that, because otherwise I don't think you'd create an atmosphere. So it's kind of, you've got your foot in one and your foot in the other. You're sort of going, yeah, this is a gig, but it's kind of not. It's a bit of fun. You know, it's a strange set of circumstances, but I think now I'm actually sort of getting the hang of it. And what I would say to everyone out there is, if you do see a performer doing a performance and it don't sound that great, or they mess up, or whatever, there's worse things that can happen out there. Let's give each other a bit of a clap and a bit of a, you know, let's just give each other a leg up rather than putting each other down at the moment. You know, it's hard for everyone.
I think, you know, having looked at them, the most challenging was the one where you had to link into the other feed, the lockdown one, or
the lockdown festival, yeah,
which was a great idea, and it was
fantastic idea.
It was great to be part of it, but it had that extra challenge of having to get going at a certain point, have to wait until the link up had been made, then go into the song, then finish by a certain time. That all adds an additional pressure. So whereas the ones that you've done
at weekend, we can just freestyle it. Yes, you know, it's just, you know. And I really did enjoy doing that. And our drummer, Neil Ablard, messaged me after and said he reckons I could get a job on the shopping channel because I can basically drone on and on about nothing for so long, waiting for connections, that I might as well just go and sell something. I reckon I'd be great on the shopping channel.
Well, I'm sure you would. If anybody's left out there to buy anything at the end of this.
Well, yeah, that's it, isn't
it might
Toilet roll.
It might be an opportunity.
Oh, got some lovely quilted here, darling.
We were fortunate as well in having that recorded stuff in the can, which we were able to put into the other festival.
Yeah, I'm so lucky.
That was handy.
Massive thanks to everyone at the Crossing and South End City College for helping us do that.
Yeah, it was a great exercise, although I confess I came out afterwards thinking I wasn't quite sure how we were going to get the best out of that. I saw it had some potential to be spliced together into another promotional piece, maybe another advert or something like that, but it certainly came into its own. So yeah, we've got one more track to come from that, which we may field at some point in the coming days. But just going back to the live streaming, how many more do you propose to do?
As many as is, really, but I don't want it to get boring. And there is a limit. I know some of you are making requests, though. Can you do this song? Can you do, this song from our repertoire? Unfortunately, some of the songs I just simply cannot do without Steve. I could probably do it if I'm playing a karaoke backing track in the background, but I don't think I really want to get into that just yet. Maybe it will come to that. It does feel very wrong doing it without Steve, and very wrong doing it without the band in general, but I'm sort of busking my way through some of it. So I'd like to do as many as is possible, that it doesn't get to the point where I'm seriously repeating all the songs over and over and over again, because I mean, that's, everyone's going to think, for the love of God, Rebecca, what's going on?
Well, I think whilst we round off this section, just like to thank everybody who tuned in, and everybody who, on the back of it, bought some merchandise or bought you a coffee.
Thank you so much. And if you want to know in future, if you want to buy me a coffee, mine's a cortado. Thanks ever so much. Yes, I know most people think, what the hell is a cortado? I did, but honestly, it's the best thing that's ever been invented. So it's cortado. There you go. When life get back to normal, treat yourselves. Go and get a cortado.
When the sun falls low.
So, what are the prospects for creating new music, in terms of new original music, while this is going on? You talked a little bit earlier about the possibility of knocking stuff back and forward. It's just worth reminding people, I think, how you work with Steve. Just very, very briefly, how the process you go through to create a song.
Well, when we could get together, we sometimes would write songs together. We can't do that, so shelve that at the moment. A lot of the time, I come up with an idea, send it to Steve. He bats it about, we bat it about. It turns into a song. Other times, he comes up with the idea, we bat it about, it turns into a song. Steve does all the demo work, all the orchestration, and all the demos, because everything's demoed to a really high standard. Normally, I would be recording vocals at Steve's. I've got 2 condenser mics here, so I've just started putting down some vocals, and we're just going to play around with that, see what Steve thinks of them. Luckily, up to this point, we have got probably about 10 demos that we think could be album worthy material, and we were already moving in that direction. Those 10 songs have come from a lot of songs that have got pushed down, so we'd already kind of been polishing those demos. None of them have real drums on yet. They're all programmed drums. They've all got various states of full vocals, but not recorded to the best. So what we've been doing, me and Steve, is working on some of those tracks, the ones that we would really like to be, maybe dropped as singles before a new album came out, and get those to the point where everything we've possibly done can be done. So the vocals, me and Steve can do all the vocals together. He can do his backing, I can do the vocals here, he can do the guitars. We would love Vince to be able to put down the bass, but at the moment we don't think that's possible. Steve could do the bass and the keys. Maybe Nigel could do the keys. I don't know what setup he's got. And Aidan as well would like to get involved. And we'd also have to talk to Neil. So at the moment, we're polishing demos, ready and waiting.
But it is technically possible by using individual musicians laying down individual parts for it to be drawn together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, some people, put down vocals and drum parts and never ever meet the artist. So it's just, the wonders of the internet.
The wonders of the internet. Well, let's hope that comes to fruition and we can keep it going. That's definitely the plan, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want any stops. I don't want any judders. I want us to keep going as we would have kept going.
And then we can send it off and get it mixed.
Mixed and mastered by whoever, and hopefully line up some singles.
It's only time with a center round.
So what else is in the pipeline?
Well, Colin, you tell me, as you're the manager, and every time I say something, ladies and gentlemen, he gives me a look. Honest to God, a look.
It was only a matter of timing.
There is something that is probably going to be released, Colin.
On Friday the 15th of May.
Friday the 15th of May. It's got a little ring to it, that, hasn't it?
It has, yes. We'll be
And
inventing
can we say a bit more about what it is or not?
No, I think we should keep people waiting.
Oh!
We should keep people waiting in anticipation.
He likes to tease.
But I think it's fair to say that there is a new offering to be looked forward to, which will be released on... Here we go. I can hear Gary Holy Magica, one of our favourite fans, who's a utter vinyl head, if I can call him that. I'm sure he won't mind. I can hear him rumbling towards whatever he's listening to this on, axe in hand. When I say it will only be available at this point on download and streaming.
We're so sorry, but you'll probably understand when you hear the track.
Yes, it could make it onto.
It could make it onto the album,
onto an album at some point in the future. But it's not.
But I'm really pleased with it. Neil Ablard has done the video for it, our drummer, and he's done an absolutely fantastic job. This was all done, ladies and gentlemen, way before this lockdown. The idea for it came up at the start of the year, really, and me and Steve kind of embellished it and again sort of demoed it up and then we got everyone to play on it. So it's been something that we've been wanting to get out, but we didn't know whether the timing was right. And I've just basically thought, you know what, the timing may never be right. And you'll probably know when you hear the song, so let's just get it out there. And you know what, it's a song. That's it, enjoy it.
And we'll start the build up to that at or around the end of the month. So, what else have we got to look forward to in lockdown, musically or personally? Surviving the next N weeks. Presumably.
Surviving the next N weeks, and everyone seems to want a time on this. Oh, when's it going to be? When's it going to be an end? And I just think right now the best thing anyone can do is just take it day by day, as I have continually told my parents. Enjoyment wise, you know what? What's been really good? The weather's been alright. The weather has been alright, innit? And the weather seems to be continuing to be alright. Get out there, go for your little bit of exercise. I'm going to be doing that because it does make you feel okay. I tell you the other thing I've been really chuffed to see over this period is just people helping other people. People being kind, just in small ways, and people being really respectful when you're in shops, when I've been to the chemist, things like that, and just people being actually, the best of human nature coming out as well. Not just with the clapping for the NHS, but actually just people respecting other people. And I think, if anything, we can all take that away and say, well, actually, we're all doing all right here. We just got to hang on in there. And know that, everyone's going through the same and that people do care. I mean, I've seen some comments on social media from people I know, and I know some people are going through really hard times mentally with this. And I think if you are, just reach out to people reach out to your family, reach out to your friends. I think everyone is here for everyone right now. And I think that's where social media actually comes into its own, because a lot of people knock it, and I think right now you can feel like you're in contact and in touch with people.
Well, I said to somebody the other day, if there was ever an age to have something like this was the age. Because if you go back to pre-internet,
like the 90s, it's not that long ago.
You shudder to think what it would have been like. And I'm afraid the scientist in me tells me that there's a long way to go with this. I think I understand why people are very anxious to bring lockdown to an end, and I understand why, particularly in our business, people are very anxious to see gigs start again. But
I just think we've got to be safe. We've got to put people's health first. That's the massive priority. Put the NHS first. Things will happen as they happen. Take them a day at a time. And just try not to run before we can walk, really. This thing's, it's very dangerous.
It is very dangerous, and it's amazing, isn't it, how, a few proteins that want to reproduce can sort of, bring the human economy to a halt and cause a lot of damage. And I think we've got to be patient. And I think the things we've been talking about from our point of view as an independent music business are the sorts of ways we can deal with it, and we can still keep making and producing and performing original music. It might be a while before we do a gig again, but
one in front of an audience right in front of us.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows what we might be able to do through the medium of technology. I can see there's people racing around to get things developed where you can have 4 or 5 musicians all playing along together. Whether that will ever look anything like a real gig, who knows? But I think it's a way of finding a way of dealing with it and finding a strategy to get through it, and that's definitely what we're trying to do. I
have to say, if you've got an animal, I'm very jealous. I'm missing my little Ralph so much. He's with his dad, Mark, because we share him. He's been a dog share since the day we got him from the rescue centre, and he's with Mark for this lockdown period, and I've FaceTimed him. So if you've got a little dog or a little cat or anything, just give them a kiss from me and say that you love them, because that's another thing that'll pick up your spirits. An animal will absolutely make you feel on top of the world.
Well, thank you for that. That's been an interesting discussion. I hope it's given everybody an insight into
the madness that is Rebecca Downs.
The madness is Rebecca Downs and her fight against the trials and tribulations of lockdown.
System up with the top down.
Here we go.
Got the city on lockdown. And I'm sorry, it wasn't 5, it was Blue. Oh my God, I do not know my boy bands, do I?
Well, as you pointed out earlier, this is the joy of live music from your sitting room.
Yeah.
So just to recap, hopefully another live stream coming up, Downstream 2, maybe. When your current little poorliness has got to the point where you feel happy and confident that you can see the gig through, we will advertise that. Something exciting coming on the 15th of May.
15th of May, yeah.
New music being generated all the time, even as we speak.
Oh my gosh.
And again, a huge thank you to all of those out there who've made a contribution to our little enterprise by buying something or sending us a donation.
Watching, sharing, going on Spotify, saving a song, subscribing on YouTube. It's all really, 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 really great. Thank you.
It is, and we do appreciate it, particularly at this time, because I'm well aware there's a lot of people out there who've got great concerns over their futures and their incomes and all of that sort of thing. So it's great to see that support still coming through. And as Rebecca's just said, there's lots of different ways you can do it. Quite a few of which don't actually involve.
Don't cost you no money, mate, do they? Nah.
No, we're back to streaming again. I can hear Gary rushing towards the loudspeaker.
I'm sorry, Gary.
But on that note, I will thank you very much for this chat, and I will say to everybody listening in, we look forward to doing another one of these in 2 or so weeks' time, depending on the ravages of coronavirus. So from me, it's thank you very much and goodbye, and
from me, it's I love you. Stay safe, stay well.
Thank you for listening to Downs Your Way. As usual, we have a merchandise discount code with this podcast, and this week's code is LOCKDOWN, all in capitals, LOCKDOWN. If you put that in at the appropriate point in the checkout process at rebeccadowns.com/shop, you will receive a 10% discount on all items purchased. We hope to have another podcast up in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, thank you for listening.